क्या इंटरनेट।
कल तुम पापा को फोन करोगे, पापा तुमको फोन करेंगे। तो दो क्या होगा? मैं ही फोन करा तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। हाँ? मम्मी आज चुप चुप है सुबह से। मम्मी आज चुप चुप है सुबह से। यार नहीं, मंदिर का टेंशन। वहाँ पे तुम कोई सब्जी भी खाती हो अपने मन से? ये क्या है?
France and USA formed allied forces. USSR attacked what is called the eastern part of Poland. USSR attacked the eastern part of and occupied territories which were territories of USSR once. So Poland, there is no USSR attacked eastern part of Poland and occupied some of the areas of Poland and which were the part of USSR once. And then after that, what happened? Attack of Pearl Harbor by Japan dragged the American
ये heavy चीज तो सुबह में रात में क्यों होता है?
train. America was not in the war. America kept quiet. So what happened? Then attack of recent fort dragging America into the war. Otherwise, America never entered into the war. So what was the immediate cause? The attack of that is no invasion of Poland by Germany. It was an immediate cause. And later, what I said, later, Germany, Italy, Japan formed Axis powers. Britain, France, and USA formed allied powers. But USSR attacked Poland, eastern part of Poland, and occupied some of the territories of Poland, where once those areas were the part of USSR. But till then, America was not in the war, that means in the scene of Second World War. An attack of Pearl Harbor by Japan dragged America into the war. On December 1941, USSR joined in the war. And in which year US joined in the war? 1941. 1941, America joined in the war. Why that? Because America followed the policy of strict neutrality. It followed the policy called a strict neutrality. And the American Congress decided to lend or lease armaments to Britain and China because their defense was vital to the defense of the United States. America, they never entered into the war at the beginning stage. And she kept what is called a neutrality. American Congress decided to lend or lease armaments to Britain and China. Only lend. But the only military force that Japan had to fear was that US Pacific Fleet based on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. And that means only military force that Japan had to fear was that US Pacific Fleet based on Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was what is called a American's naval base. American naval base. It was an island in the Hawaii. And this fleet, naval base was a fear for Japan. Then what happened? On December 7, 1941, Japan, under the premiership of General Chojo, ordered a surprise aerial attack on the Pearl Harbor. Because Pearl Harbor is an island in Hawaii, it was a naval base of USA. But US never entered into the war. US kept neutrality, complete neutrality. US Congress decided to give or lease or lend armaments to Britain or China. That is the only they followed the policy. What happened? Then the Japan had a fear in the minds. Why there was a fear in the minds of Japan? Because the US naval base was on the Hawaii Islands, and that is called a Pearl Harbor. And so the only military force that Japan had to fear was the US Pacific Fleet based at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. On December 1941, what Japan did, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. And these battleships were, the battleships were sunk and important airfields were destroyed. Around 3,700 people were killed. The Japanese made two crucial mistakes at the Pearl Harbor, and they did not destroy the ship repair facilities at the base, nor did they seek out the destroy of US carriers. But they, what is called, even though they attacked the Pearl Harbor, but they made two mistakes. What were the two mistakes? The two crucial mistakes they did. What were the crucial mistakes? They did not destroy the ship repair base facilities at the base. There was a facility for repairing the ship. It was not destroyed. And what was the second one? They nor did they seek out and destroy the US carriers and what is called Lexington and Enterprise. US carriers were there, ship carriers, and they also those carriers were also not destroyed. Were not destroyed. These were the two mistakes that Japan did. As a result, most of the ships that were damaged were soon back in action, because whatever the ships were destroyed, those ships repaired and got into action. And this was the mistake done by the Japan. Why the Japan attacked the Pearl Harbor? Because Japan had a fear in the mind. Why the Japan had a fear? Because the naval base was there in the Pearl Harbor of Hawaii Islands. And for this purpose, because of this reason, Japan gave a surprise attack on this Pearl Harbor. And Japan destroyed what is called attacked, destroyed most of the battleships. Most of the battleships were sunk, and the important airfields were destroyed, and around 3,700 people were killed. And but Japan all these ships got repaired and got into action. And so on December 8, 1941, US joined in the war and halting the Japanese advance. Halting the Japanese in advance. So this is the beginning of the war. So you see, the Pearl Harbor, attack of Pearl Harbor by Japan is the major reason for dragging of USA into the war. Before that, the US kept quiet and it continued neutrality in the war. But when it was attacked by Japan and the naval base of Pearl Harbor, then it entered into the war. And what is called, you remember, but this is because of the mistake done by the Japan. What was the mistake? First mistake that the Japan did was they did not destroy the repairing. Whatever the ships were destroyed, all these ships got repaired and got into actions. And on December 8, 1941, US entered into the war. This was the major, what is called main reason for the World War II. Have you got it? Are you able to understand or not?
Yes, sir.
How many of you are saying? Virat?
Yes.
Naide?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Nilesh, please let me know what do you mean by
Yes, sir.
Pearl Harbor attack? Please tell me. Anybody else? The immediate Pearl Harbor attack. Nilesh,
22 बच्चा है.
Nilesh, Palak,
Yes, sir.
please tell me.
Sir, because of Pearl Harbor attack, USA was dragged into the Second World War. Uh, s- uh,
Then,
हम लोग का बैच से कोई पूछता ही
Sir,
नहीं है.
before this, USA was not involved in the war. Means she kept silent.
hmm, I told that means, why Japan attacked what is called this
Sir,
this
because ships were sunk because of Germany.
ships were sunk by the Germany. Then, what was the mistake done by it? Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Ah,
Sir, sorry I got late.
yeah. Palak, that means what I said. Why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor? What was the reason? Anybody else? Why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor?
So because afraid of the army of Pearl Harbor. Sir.
Pearl Harbor, the US naval base. The US naval base, which was located in Pearl Harbor of Hawaii Islands, was a fear of Japan. And because of that reason, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and sunk most of the ships of US. And it killed 3,700 people. But Japan made a mistake. Two mistakes Japan did. What was the mistake? First one, Japan did not destroy the repairing facilities of the ships at this naval base. Second one is they did not what is called did not destroy the US carriers. These were the two mistakes they did. That is why what happened? Soon, America or US got all the ships repaired and got into action. So got into action. And you see, and then America entered into the war in December 8, 1941. Otherwise, America kept neutrality. Why America kept neutrality? Because American Congress decided not to enter into the war, decided to lend or lease armaments to Britain and China, and they followed strict neutrality. But the Pearl Harbor attack by the Japan dragged America into the war. Why Japan attacked? Because it was very close to Hawaii Island, was very close to Japan. And there was a naval base of USA on this Pearl Harbor, on that is on this island part of this Hawaii Islands. And then that because of that fear only, Japan attacked the Pearl Harbor. And in that, Japan made two mistakes. Japan completely that is sunk most of the ships, battle ships, destroyed most of their naval bases and killed many people, but they did not destroy the repairing facilities of the ships. And they did not destroy the US carriers. And because of this reason, suddenly America repaired their ships and got into the war. That is why America entered into the war. This was the reason. Have we got it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the next point I told you? What was the immediate cause for the Second World War? What was the immediate cause for
Sir,
the Second World War?
Hitler's invasion of Poland.
Poland. Am I right? Why that is Hitler decided to attack Poland? Why Hitler decided to attack Poland? Anybody else?
Because after Treaty of Versailles, Germany was divided into two land,
Two parts. Am I right or
two
no?
parts. Yes, sir, two parts, and most of the land was taken by Poland.
Hmm. Especially which
And
part was taken by the Poland?
पढ़ाई भी तो करना डिग्री
Tenzing.
Dancing.
Port of Tenzing was given to Poland. And Tenzing was mostly inhabited by
Germans.
Germans.
German. And Germany, why the Germany wanted to get this Tenzing back?
The Germany accused the Poland of
Why Germany
humiliate.
want to, no. My question is, why Germany wanted to reoccupy this Tenzing?
Because sir, because it connected Germany with Prussia.
East Prussia. East Prussia. If the Tenzing would have annexed to the Germany, so Germany could get into East Prussia through the land. And so, what Germany did for this purpose? What Germany did?
Germany signed a
with
Non-accession pact with whom?
Russia.
Russia.
1939. After that, what Germany did?
On September 1st, 1939,
No.
the Germans marched to Poland.
Poland. Why the Germany marched to Poland?
Because they
Accused
accused the Poland of atrocities against.
committing atrocities against the Germans. Am I right?
Yes.
Then what happened when the Germany was moving towards Poland? Then what happened? Britain and France gave a
Ultimatum.
ultimatum. Then in reply, then Germany attacked whom? France. And on September 3rd, Britain and France declared war on
Germany.
Germany. So it was the beginning of what?
World War II.
World War II. Now understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now you see how the bomb that is this Second World War ended. So Second World War ended by the human destroyed bombs. And what is called America started offensive against Japan to liberate the islands in Southwest Pacific. American Navy and Air Force destroyed Japanese fleet. But Japan was still firmly and strongly established in China and Manchuria, in other parts. Japan, Americans started offensive against Japan. Strong offensive against Japan to liberate the islands in the Southwest Pacific. But still, Japan was strong in Manchuria and China. And then the Japanese in Philippines formed a special force called Kamikaze, the suicide air force. Younger Japanese pilots steered an explosive-laden plane into the side or deck of American ship. Suicide corps. Civilians too had been trained in the use of variety of weapons. So Japan was very strong in the Second World War. America continued what is called a strong offensive system against Japan to liberate the islands of in the Southwest Pacific. And also what happened? Japan followed that is what is called Japanese force in Philippines made or organized a particular force called what? Kamikaze. Kamikaze means a suicide corps. Young Japanese pilots steered an explosive-laden plane into the deck, into the side or a deck of American ships. They wanted to destroy the American. So civilians also had been trained, that is to use different types of weapons. Then what happened? American scientists already started to make what is called most powerful weapons ever conceived. That is called the atom bomb. American scientists already started. So you see, after much debate, the decisions to use the bomb was taken days before the first bomb was dropped in Japan. But because you remember that, America started to make what is called atom bomb. American scientists already started to make atom bombs. And then, after much debate, or the decisions to use the bomb was taken, days before the first bomb dropped on Japan, American planes stopped.
कुछ ज्यादा नहीं हो गया? Hello?
Has seen.
Who?
Sir, you didn't see.
No.
Virat.
Virat was showing something.
Show me. I could not see.
ये फिर से बाहर जाओ.
ये वापस दिखाओ.
Australia.
फीफा मैच.
Sir, now you are
पढ़ाई
able to
लिखाई
see.
छोड़ के ऑस्ट्रेलिया घूमो.
Sir, seen sir.
Not that is no. Not visible to me.
Nice,
Not
nice.
Show me that we started. Virat,
Yes, sir.
send me.
Yes, sir.
Send me.
Okay, I'm sending.
I have got only one chat. Virat, what sender?
Sir, I am sending.
Please.
Sir, he is in Australia. He was showing you something.
Yeah. So who?
Virat,
Virat.
Virat.
Once more, sir. Wait. I'm going up.
Show. We will enjoy.
वो बच्चा है।
Okay, no problem. That means you send after that. Okay. Okay.
Lebe.
Yes. You are in Australia.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
For example,
Are you coming
Not
back?
studying, sir. Only going to picnic.
yes, sir. Tomorrow.
Good. Enjoy that vision well. Okay. Please.
Sir, only
Okay.
traveling,
Now
not studying.
Okay. Now that vision we can complete this one fast. Okay.
You give us blessings. One day we will also go.
Yeah. Now that vision what happened. Japan, I told you, America started their offensive against Japan to liberate islands in the southwest Pacific. American Navy and Air Force destroyed Japanese fleet, but Japan was very strong. And Japan, that is, Japanese force who are located in Philippines, they formed a special force called Suicide Air Corps. And the young Japanese pilots steered an explosive laden plane into the side or deck of American ship. Then American scientists started to make destructive weapons, destroying weapons called atom bomb. And Japan was very strong, and America asked a number of times Japan to surrender, but Japan was not obeyed. Then American Congress and American allies, they had taken to drop atom bombs on Japan. But before dropping the atom bombs, America had delivered some of the leaflet warning the deadly weapons and urging the Japan people and government to end the fight. But Japan did not listen to them. And on August 6, 1945, the first atom bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. And it destroyed half of the cities and half of the killing thousands of people. And despite this terrible destruction, Japan still refused to surrender. You see, you remember in the First World War, America kept in the First World War. In the Second World War, America kept neutrality. American Congress decided to lease and lend armaments to this China and Britain. But suddenly what happened? Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, naval base of America in Pearl Harbor. And it destroyed most of the ships of America. But it made a mistake. What was the mistake done by Japan? First one is, she did not destroy the ship repairing facilities in the Pearl Harbor. And also, she did not destroy the US carriers. And that is why suddenly what happened? America got repaired, all these ships got into action. So America came into the war. So when America came into the war, America started their offensive system against Japan. But Japan was also very strong. And Japan formed a special corps called a Committing Suicide Corps. And they attacked what is called most of the deck of American ship, or side or a deck of American ships. Civilians were also trained to use different types of weapons. Then American scientists started to work on make destructive weapons called atom bombs. Then these American force, America, Britain, France, they are called what? Allied force. And Japan, Germany, and which are called what is called Axis force.
Japan, Germany, Italy.
Italy are called what? Allied force. Sorry, Axis force. And then this Allied force asked Japan to surrender, but Japan was not ready. And then they had taken the decisions to drop atom bomb on Japan. But before dropping the atom bomb, America had given warning to Japan by delivering a leaflet, but Japan was not ready. And then the first atom bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, 1945, August 6. Killed thousands of people and destroyed what is called half of the city. And then also Japan was not ready to surrender. The Japan still refused to surrender. On August 9, 1945, another bomb was dropped in Nagasaki. So on September 2, 1945, Japan was surrendered unconditionally after 6 long years. And with the second atom bomb, the Second World War completely ended. So the Second World War ended by dropping of atom bombs on Nagasaki, what is called on August 9, 1945. Have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Understand?
Yes.
Then you see, when we study the consequences of the Second World War, the first consequences of the Second World War was a defeat of Axis powers. I told you, in the Axis powers, who were in the Axis powers? Who were in the Axis
Germany,
powers?
Italy, Japan.
Germany, Italy, Japan. And who were in the Allied powers?
France.
Britain and US.
France, Britain, USA. USA. Have you got it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, up to the middle of 1942, after beginning of the Second World War, middle of the 1942, Axis powers met with remarkable successes and captured large territories of Europe. They were very successful. But you see, and captured large territories of Europe, Africa, and Asia. But by the end of 1942, the tide began to turn against the Axis powers. Because in November 1942, Allied powers, Britain, France, and Soviet Union and USA, recaptured African territories lost by the French. I told you that was an offensive system. America, that was strongly banned. After, actually, till America entered into the war, Axis powers were very strong. But when America entered into the war, America took a strong offensive system against Japan to liberate most of its territories in the West Africa. So after the defeat of, then what happened? After the defeat of Germany, the Allied powers turned their attention towards Japan. So you see, after the defeat of Germany, Allied powers turned their attention to Japan. Japan had won and had occupied most of the Southeast Asia. The British forces liberated Myanmar, Malaysia, and all. You see, whatever the territories occupied by Japan, these Allied powers tried to liberate all these territories occupied by the Japan. You remember. So you see, defeat of Axis power was one of the major consequences of what is called this Second World War. And Japan, you remember, Japan was not ready to surrender to these Allied powers. Even Germany surrendered, and Italy also surrendered, but Japan was not ready to surrender. But when the America dropped atom bombs, 2 atom bombs on Japan, unconditionally, Japan surrendered to these Allied powers. So that is why this is the first consequences of this Second World War. And also what is called the formation of the UN. The horrors of the 2 world wars. You see, League of Nations was completely failure. And the failure of the League of Nations led to the meeting of big 3 nations, the USA and Britain and USSR. These three, that means, big nations presidents met were Yalta in February 1945. They resolved to convene a conference of the representatives of all nations at San Francisco to draw up the charter of the United Nations, to make a United Nations, an international organization. After the First World War, also international organization was established that was called the League of Nations, but it was completely failed. Because we know that there are a number of reasons. First one, USA also initiated to form or frame this League of Nations, but later US did not join this League of Nations. And the League of Nations was not successful in settling the problems of bigger nations. And it was successful only in settling the problems of small nations. And next one is, so that is why after the horrors of the Second World War, because first time in the history, so a destructive weapon was used, that is called atom bombs. So Japan, that means, Japan was not ready to surrender. They dropped the atom bomb. And after that, also Japan was not ready. Then America dropped the second atom bomb. It killed thousands of people, destroyed the cities. And horrors of the wars, the failure of the League of Nations, so led to the meeting of three big leaders. Who are the big leaders? Roosevelt, President of USA, Churchill, the Prime Minister of Britain, and Stalin, the Prime Minister of USSR. And they met at Yardley. And they resolved to convene a conference of all the representatives of nations, all the nations, at San Francisco to draw up a charter of United Nations. And it led to the what is called establishment of this United Nations organizations on October 24th, 1945. So United Nations of UNO was established on 24th October 1945. And then second one is what is called a Cold War. After the Second World War, you have to understand. So there were two superpowers emerged in the world after the Second World War. First one is the USSR, other one is USA. So two world powers emerged in the world. And you see, during the Second World War, USA and Soviet Union fought together. But then harmony and these cooperations between these two nations declined. And instead of this harmony and cooperation, mutual suspicions, ideological differences started between these two nations. One nation was a capitalist country, other nation was a communist country. USSR was a communist nation, USA was a completely capitalist country. So ideological differences was there, and mutual suspicion was there. And in the Second World War, they fought together. They had a harmony, they had corporations, but this cooperation and harmony completely destroyed after the Second World War. And at the end of the Second World War. You see, because of ideological differences and there emerged mutual suspicions between these two nations. And that is why these countries completely what is called gone with a kind of philosophy called what? Cold War. Cold War means they are not coming into the forefront in the war. Their what is called their allies were fighting. Their allies were fighting. They were supporting from the back. And so actual fight against each other was not. And there was a state of extreme political tension. So there was a political tension. This state of tension between these countries, in which each side adopted policies designed to what is called strengthen itself and weaken the other side. So mutual suspicions, and there is a political tensions, and they were not coming into direct war. Instead of that, their allies were fighting, and they supported these allies. And that is why Cold War is defined as an atmosphere when there is no armed struggle. But rebels continued to maintain their peacetime diplomatic relations along with their hostility. What is called? But the rebels continued to maintain their peacetime diplomatic relations among with their hostility. And that is meant by what is called a Cold War. So the Cold War, the emergence of the Cold War between USA and USSR was the major consequences of the Second World War. And so the Cold War also involved arms races. That is why America was, that means, completely suspected of USSR. USSR completely suspected of USA. So then what happened? Suddenly a piling up of weapons started. Piling of a huge weapons started. And you see, another one is a piling up of nuclear weapons, conventional weapons, formation of military alliances. So Warsaw Pact was signed and NATO was signed with America. Warsaw Pact was signed with the USSR and some other nations. You see, number of military alliances also started. When America then started to establish some of the allies, then USSR also started to make the allies with the other nations. So you see, military alliances started, formation of what is called military alliances, piling up of atom bombs, military, conventional weapons, etc. This is because of what is called this Cold War. So that is why Cold War is a phenomenon. It's an atmosphere where there is no armed struggle, but the rebels continue to maintain their peacetime diplomatic relations along with the hostility. So along with the hostility, suppose I am not attacking somebody directly, but I am watching all the time that fellow. What he does, then the opposite side, I will do also the same. If he buys one rifle, then I will buy two rifles. What I feel, because he buys this one rifle means it may be used for killing me. So that is why I may buy two. So that way, these two nations continue. And their allies started to war. And they never came into the war front. They supported their allies by giving weapons, by giving full support, etc. So that is why this is an atmosphere when there is no armed struggle. But the rebels continue to maintain their peacetime diplomatic relations along with their hostility. That is meant by Cold War. So the emergence of Cold War is the another consequences of this Second World War. And after the Second World War, America became superpower and USSR became superpower. But they fought together. There was a harmony. There was a cooperation among these nations at the end of the war. But after the war, this harmony and cooperation completely destroyed. And then what happened? This America and the USSR started to look each other with the suspicion and with the political tensions and with the ideological differences. I told you that this ideological difference was there because one side a capitalist country, other side a communist country. You see, ideological difference was there. And because of these mutual suspicions, they never entered into a direct armed struggle. Instead of that, what is called, they kept a kind of peace through their hostility. And this atmosphere is called what US, Cold War. Have you understood or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So you see, now does the US and USSR continue to maintain diplomatic relations, but they did not resort to overt clashes, but treated each other with the hostility. Each other treated with the hostility. And this led to the division of the world into two power blocks. So this led to what is called division of whole world. Some of the countries supported America, some of the countries supported USSR, but India kept neutrality. So that is why India followed a policy called non-alignment. Even most of the countries took the side of USSR. Some countries took the side of USA, but India never took the side of any of these superpower blocks. India followed the policy called what? Non-alignment policy. And this is because there are number of what is called reasons for that. I told you ideological differences. One is democratic, other one is a capitalist bloc. Second one is, I told you democratic bloc means most of the democratic countries took the side of America. And most of the communist countries took the side of USSR. And USSR completely supported those countries. America supported these countries with the democratic principles, and they supported all this. So this is what is called all about the Second World War. Have you understood? Clear?
Yes, sir.
I will send you the question answer to your WhatsApp number. Okay, please, tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you see, you have to study this question answer. Then only you can answer these questions. Then UNO is there. UNO also I will take tomorrow. So tomorrow you will have what is called a geography online classes and 4 o'clock, because I don't want to call you tomorrow to here because it is the first day of the 2023. Okay. So are you able to join 3-4 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. No problem. Yes. Okay, please. Good. Thank you. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Happy New Year to everybody.
Year, sir.
Okay. New Year. So, okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.